wraps and we head to the traditional end of summer, Labor Day weekend. There's plenty of action coming your way when you get back. Looking live at Washington, D.C. and Wall Street, both ready to kick into high gear. President Trump will be pushing his tax plan aggressively, among other things, and investment markets enter their most volatile time of year. Joe Cryer, president of Cryer Wealth Management, here to talk about the interplay of all these factors and how they affect us. So politics and money. Let's start with Harvey first. Will Harvey flood the economy with woe?
Not necessarily. I mean, there's been some talk that it might hurt gas prices, but so far oil's been high on stockpiles, so there's really no problem there. And there tends to be a little bit of an economic boost when you have a tragedy of this magnitude, because there's a rebuilding effort that's already kind of started gaining steam, and we're seeing sectors like infrastructure, cement, and those kind of things starting to do well. And there is a public outpouring of money kind of heading towards Texas that is by itself one of the larger economies in the U.S.
Let's go overseas and talk about North Korea. A lot of rhetoric, and we don't know what's reality. If things do escalate with Pyongyang, what will the impact be?
Yeah, it's pretty ugly, and that's the kind of thing that does have people on edge. You know, they're pushing the limits on this, and there's a lot of grandstanding going on both sides. The big disaster would be that North Korea's got missiles aimed directly at Seoul with 25 million people. On one hand, if you get things going, there's going to be mass destruction there. The other problem is if you happen to liberate North Korea, all the North Korean people don't really have a way to integrate with society. They've been sort of corralled for so long that in and of itself would be a big disaster. So we're sort of in a lose-lose situation, and both China and the U.S. would like to just have this thing kind of quiet down and go along the way it has been.
Let's talk about the upcoming debate over the debt ceiling that Congress is going to take out when it reconvenes. If I did this, my credit score would tank, but it's a recurring problem. They just keep raising the debt ceiling.
It is. And, you know, Trump wants to do the same thing Obama wanted to do a few years ago, and that is just quit putting a ceiling on it and make it an unlimited credit line. The problem with that is that there's things like the Freedom Caucus who have campaigned and won local elections based on corralling government, and Trump himself even ran on that last year, that, hey, we're going to put a limit on things. As it stands, it turns out that $19.8 trillion isn't a big enough debt load for the U.S., and it looks like they're going to end up bumping it. There's going to be some political jockeying that you're going to hear for the next 4 weeks, unfortunately, about it.
We're talking about the president. Let's talk about trumping the economy. He outlined a tax cut program when he was in Missouri. Short on specifics, but he said in the abstract that basically would impact lower and middle-income taxpayers.
Yeah, I think it definitely will target middle-income taxpayers. But the big deal as far as markets go and all of your 401ks and retirement accounts is that there's a corporate tax cut as part of the mix. Corporations currently pay 35%. He wants to lower it to 15%. They'll probably get 25%, and you know that'll help corporate profits. It'll help the markets, and our earnings will go up in investments. The problem is if we're going to jockey back and forth and have a political fight, this thing's going to get dragged out, and it is going to end up being a big negative.
All those issues, time will tell. Joe, always a pleasure. Thank you. We will